We wanted to ask some specific questions about the crime. Why our house? How did they get in? But when we spoke to the police officers about the process, what we also understood is actually by us going and being part of it, the potential impact on the offender, helping them to understand the impact on their crime, and potentially getting them to kind of question their offending behaviour and their future.
So what was it like going into the room? And you did it with other people who had been victims of the same burglar. What was it like sitting down there, looking the man who had broken into your house, stolen your property, looking him in the eye and telling him the effect that it had had on your life?
There were 7 of us who were victims sitting in front of him. For him, it was quite a daunting experience. For us, it was a very emotional experience. One by one, we went through the impact of his crimes on us, what had happened, got to ask him questions. There was a lot of emotion. There was anger, there were tears, but actually there was a real connection there, and there was a real empathy as well, and I know that's not everybody might feel that way, but we felt that we could get our questions answered. We could see him in the flesh. It was no longer an imagined person that had been in our house, but actually by doing that we felt that we were on a journey of actually potentially making a difference to him too.
Do you feel that you have made a difference to him? He's still in jail at the moment, due for release shortly.
Yep, he's got another year until he's due to be released. What we've decided to do, and not everybody may want to do that, is that we've had contact with him since that conference, that we've exchanged letters while he's been in prison, because actually we feel we've started this process. If we truly want to feel like we've had an impact and that he may end up choosing a different route when he's released, that actually we didn't want it to stop then.
Of course, this is really all about the victim. Did you come out of it feeling you'd got some sort of closure, and also your family as well, because you have young children, they were badly affected by the burglary?
Yes, absolutely. Our youngest daughter, she was 6 at the time of the burglary. It took her at least 2 years to begin to settle at night, going to bed. We'd have to do a lot of reassurance because she was concerned about someone coming into the home. Going home after meeting him and able to explain that we'd met him, that he was in prison, that he was sorry, that he'd cried, reassured her and helped her. But it meant also that we could ask some of those questions that you would never have got to ask if you had never have met him.
John Willett, you're in charge of rolling out an extension of the programme for the Police and Crime Commissioner over the next 3 years. You've actually got quite a bit of money to do this, so I imagine you must be looking forward to hearing many more stories like Rachel's.
Absolutely. I mean, I've come from 36 years' experience of working in the police, and so I'm very familiar with the traditional criminal justice process and system. And for the last 3 years, restorative justice has probably been sort of 5 or 10% of what I do. It's a real opportunity to take it to the next level, and so the funding will be a catalyst to do that.
You're getting close on about £500,000 over 3 years to do this. Some people might say, all very well, it's good for some people, but in such constrained financial times, £500,000 could go to frontline policing to make sure that the burglars are caught don't commit so many of these crimes.
This is a service predominantly for victims to help them cope and recover. It supports the victim's code and everything that we're trying to do with that. Secondly, the benefits for the offender in reducing their behaviour and making a difference for them when they leave prison. So if we can stop just a few burglars going out and recommitting further offences, the cost to the taxpayer or the benefits to the taxpayer are immense.